Hey guys, we're back.
It's been a long time, but we're here and alive.
September's been a busy week, a busy month already, so we've just been lifing for a while.
Yeah, let's see. August 29th was my birthday, so we celebrated that on the 29th and the 30th. And then I had my anniversary and we went on vacation from on September 2nd or 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then for some reason I had to recover from this vacation. I don't know why. I was so sleep deprived that I threw my whole body off.
Yeah,
And then I had to catch up on work.
yeah,
And that's pretty much been what I've been up to. Still trying to read. What about you? Busy with school and stuff, I take it?
yeah, yeah. I'm just getting things started and getting into the swing
Yeah.
of things, and we're doing something different with RTI this year, so there's kind of been a little bit of a learning curve with that, but it's nothing crazy, but it's just takes a bit to
Yeah.
get back into the routine of things. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. All right, one thing we forgot to do last live stream is that we both have bought a few books since, and we forgot to share them, and I didn't realize until after we got off.
I left mine in the living room. I'm gonna shut my camera off and go get them real quick because I freaking forgot mine again. I will be back.
Okay, alrighty, cool.
You can talk about yours.
Okay. So, well, I'm gonna wait until she gets back. But, yeah, something I've done recently is I actually posted a full video on my own channel, which is Ray Royal Reads. So I posted on that one today, which was super exciting and very nerve-wracking.
I had planned to watch it when I finished the book, so I
Yeah.
had them sitting on my shelf. They were right there. I just forgot to
Yeah.
grab them.
So,
So I don't have them.
yeah.
I'm so glad you posted your review, though.
Yeah. I have been wanting to, like, when I finished the Hunger Games series, I was wanting to make a review, like a big video, and I was thinking about it would be fun to make one where I kind of talk about, like, the Massiverse shelf in its entirety,
That would
because
be
I've read
great.
everything now, so it's everything that's released anyway. So I'm like,
Fun.
yeah.
So, anyways, proceed.
Okay.
We have books.
So we'll do our shared one because we both have the same one with that one.
Yeah.
This was actually Quicksilver, so we got the we bought the updated cover for Quicksilver,
Yes.
and I
Silver
I
pages.
think honestly, I think the matte and the silver bits make it like do so much justice to the cover that like online it just didn't do like at all, because online it just looked completely like glossy, and it was really hard to read, but with the matte and the gloss for some reason it just helps the letters stand out more. And I don't know if it's just because I don't know what exactly it is. It gets like the colors on the outside of the letters look a little bit more pronounced, like the blues and the purples and stuff on the outside here. Like I don't know if it's that, but there's something about it that the letters just look more pronounced and they look a lot better. Which I love the indie cover. I love the indie cover, but I also really like this one too. And
I've grown on it. Got it
yeah.
for me, and the art on the inside really
Yes.
sells it for me too.
yeah.
Like,
There's here I'll show you. I'll show the front and you show the back. So this is the one in the front, and then that's what's in the back, and so I guess it's the character art, and I just
it's beautiful.
yeah, it's really pretty.
Yeah,
And I
So
think
before the new
it's
book
kind of neat
comes out-
because she still paid. It was almost like paying homage to the original cover, because King Asher is it Asher? No,
Kingfisher.
Fisher. Asher. Fisher was the guy that she put on the cover originally, and she made that whole original cover herself. And so it's like, honestly, when you think about it, like the inside covers kind of pay homage to that a little bit. And for me, that's what I feel like it does. It kind of pays
I think
homage
it
to
does,
that
too.
original one.
So, Yeah, and and the silver pages are so, they look metallic, honestly, and they're like so, they're got, because regular sprayed edges are all like paint almost, and this is like um almost metallic or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Before Brimstone comes out in November, I'm hoping to do like a reread of this one.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful.
Yes.
All right, so what else? Did you get any other books?
Yeah, I got this one. It's called Silver Cloak. They both have the word silver in them. But it's L.K. Steven, and it seemed like,
I love the cover.
yeah, and it seemed like a fantasy academy. It was like a fantasy academy style thing, and it kind of reminded me of like Fourth Wing a bit, but without the dragons and with assassins. And it's just kind of, I'm intrigued.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember when I read it, when I saw it at the Walmart, I think one time, it reminded me of Aelin a little bit, so it's kind of got a nice vibe to it.
Yeah, but it was like
Like
detectives. It was like detectives too. So it was like, I don't know. It kind of makes me think of like a, I don't know. It's just really interesting. So I'm like, it feels different. So I'm excited. And the cover was
cool.
really kind of pretty too.
Okay, so for mine, I guess we can go back and forth if you have more. So I got two different books for my birthday. So I can't remember. I think I got one at one store and one at the other store. So this one I'm not going to touch on too long, but essentially I watched this booktuber and she read it and she liked it, and it's got an interesting time travel kind of vibe where it's like it's in the future. Silval servants basically begin to work on a project. They're gathering expats from across history to discover whether time travel is feasible for the human body. And so it's just like time travel and stuff, and
Yeah,
kind of an interesting, thought
sweet.
provoking. So it was the only thing I saw at this one thrift store that didn't have a whole lot of books that I wanted to get. And then this one I was so hyped for, The Wolf and the Woodsman. And it's
Mm.
got, the gorgeous sprayed
Ooh,
edges
that is
and
pretty cool.
the back. And it's like she's blamed by some villagers and she gets on the run, and monsters attack the woodsmen and they're captive en route, slaughtering people. And then she has to work with this
Hmm.
disgraced prince. And so a disgraced prince kind of vibe is definitely
Yeah.
like my thing with dances and stuff. So, and it's got a little ribbon, so that's going to be fun to use as a
Ooh,
bookmark.
sweet.
So,
I love it when they have
and
like
those
the little
got
ribbons
my
built in.
birthday. So, what's your next book?
Oh, those are the only two that I had.
Well, I got
I think
one
I'm.
more for my anniversary. So I actually did a challenge video where I could only get one book, and I had books a million to
Mm.
pick from. So I had this huge debate, and I don't want to spoil the ending of the book, but essentially I got this book.
Mm.
And um there's a prince that's not destined for his throne. His brother is, and their father dies. His brother assumes the throne. So he's kind of more of a villainous kind of character, but so it kind of gives this enemies to lovers romance with
Mm-hmm.
Sarah. She wants to marry the king and kill him to end their bloodline because I guess they wronged her, but she's falling in love with the brother who's
Ah.
wronged. And
Yeah.
I read the beginning of it, and he's got scars and he's a damaged male character, and I was just like,
Ooh.
nah, I can't resist. So
Yeah.
they had a absolutely gorgeous special edition hardback, but it was $40, and I was like,
Yeah.
our budget was 20.
Ah. Yeah.
So I asked if they had a cheaper version, and she said showed me the paperback. So that was my anniversary book.
Aw. Cool. Alrighty. So we want to go over our reads for August then. I know you had a couple, and I've had a few.
Yeah. Um, Essentially, I finished Kingdom of Ash, which did finish off the Throne of Glass series for me. So that was a big
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment. I started it technically July 24th, but I finished it August 14th. So, which
I
is
still
not too
count
bad
those. Yeah.
considering it's 900 pages.
Yeah.
It's the longest book I've ever read. It was a 5-star read for me. I felt like it was a really perfect finale for the book. There were a few things I didn't like, but that's just kind of comes with the, reading
I
books in
I
general.
feel
There's always going to
like
be something.
I feel like that, like, I don't know. I'm hoping that there's some kind of connection, but I feel like between, like there's similarities, and I mentioned this in a short, but I won't go into detail, but I feel like there's some similarities in how certain female characters are written in certain series, but it's like not through the entire series, it's just into a certain point. And so I don't know if that's just a phase that Sarah's gotten into with her writing, or
that's
if
kind of what I was wondering.
or if she plans on connecting them somehow.
Yeah, and has like a purpose to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my biggest complaint really, was the female character, some of the female characters having to be strong and demeaning the male characters for them to be, but they had some good moments too, like the Elide and Lorcan moment when they're running, trying to get back to the gates. That was one of the most exciting scenes that has stuck in my head. Kale and Dorian, and I love Manon or Manon. So there's like a, Aiden or Adian or whatever his name is too. So I finished that one. Did you want to go back and forth, or just me run through mine and then you run through yours?
We can go back and forth. That's fine.
Alright, so that was my first read of August.
Okay. One thing I did really like, is like I appreciate it, is that like it wasn't just like every couple gets together at the end of Kingdom of Ash. Like it wasn't like every couple gets together, everyone has like a happy ever after where everyone lives, and it's like, spoiler alert, like the whole scene with the 13 sacrificing themselves, and it's just like, oh my god, I bawled so bad. I was a blubbering mess. And I feel like every time every time you see a clip of people like bawling their eyes out at Kingdom of Ash, that's the part that they're reading. And it's like, also, can we talk about the fact that all of Aylin's friends were just okay with her sacrificing herself, and just not coming, like, because like that potential of her not coming back when they did the whole like shutting the gate thing. Can we like talk about that for a second? Because that was honestly, the more I think about it afterwards, the more I'm like, that is really sad that nobody objected to her being the one to close the gate. They're like, oh, this is just kind of a your destiny type of thing, and it's just like,
well, I feel like Rowan did, but
other than him, but
I don't remember if Elide did or not. But yeah, that part drove me crazy though, because it was like, I thought that her and Dorian were gonna get to like share the load.
Yeah.
And then she just yeets Dorian out of it and ends up teaming up with his father. And can we talk about his father's name being Dorian, but he didn't know it, and he named Dorian that?
Honestly,
was like the last shred of Christianity, like the king getting a redemption.
The king is probably one of the biggest plot twists for me in that whole thing. Is I was not expecting the king to be a good guy and be the one to actually help her. That, and the fact,
I thought he was going to be the big bad from the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, and the part that blew me through for a loop was the runes and stuff that he tattooed into her back was literally her back home. Like, that's the only reason why she made it back. And it's like, I know you mentioned at one point that it felt kind of frustrating that that is kind of like they're kind of degrading the guys in order to be, raised in order to raise high, like to be raised up, you have to step on the guys in the process. And it's like, I honestly, when you think about it, Aylin wouldn't have accomplished anything if it wasn't for like her court, the guys that she had made up her court. And I wish and this is not something that the characters would have done, this is a Sarah thing that frustrates me. I wish Sarah would, because you can still have a strong feminism story, a feminism kind of plot line, but with also acknowledging the help of the guys in the process. And acknowledging the fact that she needed them. That she couldn't have done it on her own. She needed them. Like that when she was kidnapped at the beginning, the guys are what helped her. Like she was able to find that willpower to get up and go, but at the same time she wouldn't have been able to live past that point if it wasn't for the guys distracting people, like Rowan distracting them. Yes. Yeah. And it's like through the entire story you see that the guys, the people around her, gender is like out of the question at that point. Like through the entire series, the people around her are what help her push her forward. And that was one of my biggest issues with Aylin. And I think it's honestly with me now, it's more of a Sarah thing. Sarah doesn't acknowledge that in the story, and that could have just been a huge theme of the series, is the power of teamwork and the power of companionship and banding together and like a fellowship of people. You know what I'm saying? Like a Lord of the Ring fellowship type of thing. Like Frodo and Sam wouldn't have been able to accomplish what they accomplished if it wasn't for literally everybody else.
Yeah, and that's why that theme of it's kind of like found family with like everybody's teamwork working together.
Exactly.
Like that's why Fairy Tail is one of my favorite animes, just as a side note, because it's always like Natsu gets to be the big bad protagonist and he'll do things, but not without the help of the whole guild. And it's always like, it's just like, great speech. Can we also talk about the boss fight? Because at first it seemed like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be
God. Then the
men all got to have their moment fighting against face.
Oh my God, I loved it so much.
And they fought, and she trapped them in their heads, and it was like screaming. Every one of them was like, she trapped them in like their worst nightmare. And Rowan was like breaking through, and like Lorcan was trapped, and like Fenris was the last one because he couldn't get out of it. That whole thing like took my breath away. I was just like, boss fight. Like,
I know. I honestly had forgotten about that until you mentioned it, but that was such an epic moment.
Yeah. Her, like, I've said this time and again, especially like for advice to authors, if you want to do a good boss fight, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, like, these people are breaking into the palace, you've got the sky battle, you've got the lightsaber duel, like, Star Wars always ends with multiple parts, and Sarah loves to cram the drama in the last 100 or 200 pages, and everybody in this one...
And that's what she's doing.
Part. Everybody was doing stuff.
She's really good at doing that, where she'll have multiple things going on at once, and everything just kind of collides, and everything builds and builds and builds, and then it just collides.
Yeah. Because it was like Irene had to cure the one guy, the guy, and then all the other girls kind of helped her get to that part. Like without that, she wouldn't have been able to get to him. I can't remember. Kale and Dorian had their stuff. Like it was just like it was like a pro bot, and that's why my complaints against it aren't enough to make it dock a star, because it was.
I agree with you.
But yeah. So what was your first August read?
Okay,
that was our Kingdom of Ash. Little tidbit. I
figured I was waiting until we had one. I'm just gonna use I think I started Quicksilver in July, but I finished it on August 1st, so I'm not gonna count that one as an August read, because I literally it's probably one of those things. I finished it at the end of July, but by the time I got it marked in Goodreads and stuff, it was August 1st.
Yeah. Mine are all the night before, because I'm in the AM when I do it, so I totally get that.
Let's see. A really quick one that I read was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It was like, I think it was just like a couple days. It was really short.
I don't think it was even in a thumbnail. Like, that's how fast you read it.
Yeah, I don't think I made any shorts or anything on it. It was very quick. I started it on August 1st, and I finished it on August 2nd. But to be fair, it's like script format, and the only other book that I've read was a book about Count Dooku, and I read that one really fast as well. I think it's something about this format. I speed read them. I don't know what it is, but I love this kind of formatting. I don't know why. I just do. Probably because my brain already builds the scenes in my head, so I don't really need any of the descriptors, I guess. I don't know. Like, when I am reading, I build scenes in my head more so than figuring out what the characters look like. And so it's like, I don't know, but it was really neat. I can see why some people would thought it kind of messed with the canon a little bit, because the kids are using time. Do you plan on reading this at all?
No.
Okay. So,
not at all.
Essentially, in spoiler alert for this, if you haven't read this one yet, it's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child parts 1 and 2. It's a screenplay that was novelized. Essentially what it is that Cedric's dad comes to him with his niece, and wants Harry to use a time turner that they found at the Knott's house, the Theodore Knott, at their house. It was confiscated, and he was wanting Harry to use the time turner to go back and save Cedric from being killed at the end of the Triword tournament. And
Mm-hmm.
essentially, Harry tells him no, that it's not possible. They can't do that. And so he kind of guilt trips them. But at the time, Harry's youngest, James, I think it's one of his younger son, gets sorted into Slytherin, which is kind of against, like, oh, the chosen one's child is evil, in the Slytherin house and all this. And he befriends Scorpius, which is Draco's son, and they become really close friends. And so over the course, they meet up. They meet up with Cedric's dad's niece, and I put air quotes around niece because it turns out that she's not his niece at all, and she is Voldemort's daughter, and she's trying to get Voldemort back. But when they go back, and so the boys take the time turner and go back and keep trying, and they change different things with that final event with the Triword Tournament, and each one of those causes a different future to happen. And so it's like this whole thing. It's a really interesting story. I like it, but it's like, I can see why, but there's certain key points where it's like I could see how it kind of fits in, because it doesn't directly, there's like, it's talking about parts in the story that we really didn't technically see at, like, in the original series. Like, it's like different moments or like different POVs that we didn't get from Harry. So it's like, I can see how it works, but I can also see why people would kind of be not really, one, it's not a full novel, and a lot of people were wanting a full novel, and two, it feels kind of like, it does feel kind of like a fan fiction-y kind of vibe. And a lot of people were also wanting to see, like, Harry, Ron, and Hermione and Draco's lives and not really focus on their kids as much. I can see why people didn't like it. I thought it was a fun story. I was kind of surprised by some of the twists. I really enjoyed it. And plus, I wasn't ready to be done with this universe yet. And so this was a good last. Yeah, it was like it was a good, like, little. It was a good book to dip my toes into. Whereas, like, we're still seeing Harry, Ron, and Hermione and everybody, but we're also getting something new. And so it was really I liked it. I give it a 5-star. I enjoyed it. I know I probably rated it a little high. If I'm being realistic, I probably could give it like a 4 if I compare it to my other 5-star reads. But I enjoyed it. I honestly, and I think, the little quick summary review that I give sums up in Goodreads, sums it up really well. Like, there were times that I was crying, and that's why I ended up giving it a 5, is because it made me emotional at times for different reasons, just because you could feel the kids' emotions, even though we didn't have all the descriptors and stuff. I still felt for the kids in the story and those moments. And it's like, for me, that's what makes a book 5-star, if I feel strong emotions for it. Right. Except Rage, which I will talk about in my next one. That's the only one that I won't give a 5-star. Not the next one, but the one after that.
Okay, so I did start reading Outlander, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I haven't finished it, and so that one's I'm saving for last. But my next one that I did finish in August was Mr. Ballen's Strange, Dark, and Mysterious. It's a graphic novel.
That was interesting.
So I needed to feel, I was having a lot of reading fatigue at the time, and I didn't want to read, and I needed to feel like I was finishing something quick. So like you, with your last book and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, this was so relaxing, which is strange because it's strange, dark, and mysterious. So it's very dark, true crime. And he just, the way that he tells stories, it's like the same story, like you could have heard it from somewhere else, but like the way that he presents information, he'll omit certain details so that at the end there's a big reveal. And like my sister and I are kind of addicted to his YouTube channel, but I've watched every single one of his videos, other than he does medical mysteries, and I get so paranoid I can't handle those. But just like, we love watching Mr. Ballen. This was his first graphic novel. So they had a lot of good stories. There was several different ones. There was a couple of like war ones where, because he was a Navy SEAL, and a random tidbit, he inspired my entire military romantic suspense series. It was Mr. Ballen, because I've watched interviews about him talking about his time as a Navy SEAL, and that's why my guy characters are all Navy SEALs. But so there's a couple of like wartime ones that were really interesting. There was one that stuck with me that I mentioned when I was reading it, about this girl camping in the woods. But like the classic story about this guy who was sent after this tiger, or he was hunting in the woods and he saw some, like a kill in the woods basically,
Mm-hmm.
and he decided to take, hadn't found anything and he needed food, and it turns out it was a tiger's kill, and the tiger was so mad it actually
Oh.
hunted him. And he had 3 dogs with him, so that one hit close to home. I'd heard the story before,
Mm-hmm.
but so he went out looking for one dog that ran off and stuff, couldn't find it. Nobody would help him because they're like, this tiger's coming after you, so we're not going to get involved. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then he loses the second dog, and then his third dog eventually gets run down. And um the tiger literally brought one of the dog's bodies back to the cabin on the inside when the guy was gone.
Oh.
So the guy comes back, his wounded dog, goes over to help,
Oh.
and then the tiger showed up. So the tiger actually was smart
Like
enough to
baiting
set a
him.
trap
Yeah.
using his dog.
Yo.
And um, he didn't make it, neither did his dog. So these
Hmm.
guys come out and investigate it, and it just kind of shows that like tigers as predators are like,
Mm-hmm.
they're really intelligent, and they're kind
Oh
of
yeah.
like one of the ones that they're not just gonna kill for meat. Some they will kill for revenge and like
Yeah.
hunt you down. And it's like, it
Whew.
was just really intriguing. Like that's just one of the stories. But
Yeah.
so it's really dark, and somehow it relaxes me. I don't know. It's
Hey,
one
it
of those weird
works.
things.
It works. We all have it. It works. I'll take it. So,
So you're
the
my
bulk of
ranty one.
the bulk of my August was, this is like started. I started reading this one on the 3rd, and then I finished it on the 23rd. So it took a bulk
Oh,
of the month.
Book of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big book. So
I loved the beginning, like loved the beginning.
Ooh.
Loved it.
Ooh,
You'll learn later. Because I can't.
I'm kind of excited.
It's a big thing. I can't tell you. So, I loved the romantic couples and the pairing as well, because, they weren't really in like their honeymoon phase. Like they had issues. They had arguments. They had disagreements. They weren't built solely just like on sex or lust. Like there was those moments where like I just want to be held, and I really really appreciated that. And it's like,
That's
because
so
at the
cool.
moment, like in the story, their characters, it wouldn't make sense for them to, because they were both working through trauma for various reasons, and they're both working through stuff, and it was like it just wouldn't make sense for them to have sex. And I love that. The side characters are, for me, it's kind of like it's like Empire of Storms for me, on that vibe, just because the side characters were really 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 strong in this book. Particularly, I felt like they really outshined the main character in this one, for the middle part at least. For the middle of so like the beginning and the end, I love the main characters. The middle of it is very side character heavy, is my love for them. There's like a few negative things. The character's attitude just shifts randomly, and it doesn't really give any kind of, like, there's no, and this is, again, it's Sarah's writing. It's the way Sarah wrote it. I don't hate the character. I don't hate Bryce at all. I love her. But the way Sarah she wrote it without giving us context as to why her attitude changed.
Right, okay.
She didn't give us context in her head of, like, what was going through her mind, like, explicitly. Like, not explicit, like, I am, like, mean because, like, I don't need it that explicit, but it's, like, just, there's ways of writing that, like, because every character will turn into a Karen, like, I know best, and I'm gonna do what I need to do. Like, every character goes through that a little bit at some point in a story, but typically the writer is the one, like, the writers will give you an explanation as to give you something that, explanation as to, like, like a slow progression into that, but it was just like instant.
I mean, like Selena in the first book's, like, Throne of Glass, where you understand why, because of her training and Erebin and everything that she's gone through, and like why she has that swagger and that arrogance is because she's been trained to be this assassin, and that's why she had trouble working alone. So it's like the context there helps with her earlier stuff. So it's like without context, you end up like missing a lot. Like I totally get that.
And it's like, if I when you read between the lines, with this, like, when you read between the lines, I can understand why she was acting that way. But it wasn't, I don't know. I feel like I needed the character to explain. Not really explain, but it's just like there was no transition. There wasn't a like there was no panic. There was panic, but there wasn't. And it was like if the character was panicking a little bit more, or was like showed more stress or emotional distress, then it would have made her attitude make sense. If that makes sense at all. Kind of.
It does.
And I purely blame Sarah's writing for that. I don't feel like this one is like. Plus, it's not the end of a series. It's not the end of the series either. It's not. Yeah. I can't truly compare it to Kingdom of Ash because it's not the end of a series. But it's like, considering how big this is, it doesn't feel like a. I mean, a lot happened. It had a big ending, like a big ending, but it just. I give it a 4. And it's purely, if there's one specific it's the attitude that pulls it down to a 4.
Right.
I was able to look past it because of all the other POVs were helping pull that together. That, and there's so much lore that's dropped into this book. It's fantastic. But, you know, I just, it would have been a 3 if it wasn't for the lore. The side character, the lore and the side characters kept this at a 4. I'm gonna put it that way. Okay. That's what kept it at a 4 for me. That, and I want to continue to see what happens with this series. Like, I want this series to continue. I want to see where she's going to take it. Because I have my own theories on what's going to happen. I think there's going to be more betrayals that are going to happen. Mm-hmm. It seems too interesting. It seems too final and too finished. Like, it's the end of a story, happily ever after. It seems too similar, too like that. So I'm like, there's going to be betrayals. There's like 3/4 of the way through the book, there was like theories that I'd kind of made on what I think is going to happen, and I've tried to make connections, but there's nothing to confirm those connections. So.
Okay. It'll be exciting when I get there and we can talk about them in detail and then get, contact, what our theories are.
Yeah, for sure.
The other book that I read in August, I haven't finished yet, is actually Outlander, but it's on the ebook, so this is the ebook cover. I figured I'd show both. And it's a good book, and I love it. I genuinely love it, and that's what makes this so hard. It's just, it was written in the 90s, and it's a historical romance, and her writing is so good, and I'm reading it very slow because big words and comprehension, and it's a lot slower than these not really simple fantasy stories, but the normal books that I read with the writing styles that they have, I can read fairly quickly. So I'm just slow. And then for me, I watched the TV show first, and after I've gotten about halfway through, I was reading and then watching the episodes because I remembered where the episode stopped at for the most part. And so I was doing that, really good pattern, everything else. But this TV show kind of strips down and kind of gets to the point because it only had a certain amount of episodes to get through this whole book. And so it kind of strips out all of the filler, but the book, the filler is still there, and it feels more like filler because the story beats, and I'm like, okay, why are we
the show?
Yeah, I'm like, why are we watching these birds in a tree and trying to go get the bird egg? Like, why are we here? Like, this is totally not relevant to the story. I don't know. Maybe it was like showing that Jamie knew bird types or something, but it was just like, I can't read this anymore. And I actually managed to get through the few filler episodes in the TV show, and kind of like, I haven't had a chance to watch it because I don't have time, but I still want to read it. I just needed, I was starting to get, I had a big, what is it called? Reading fatigue.
You don't want to get into a reading slump either, so.
Yeah. And when I started reading the current read that we joint read, but I'm still not through with, it felt like a breath of fresh air.
Oh yeah.
I knew I wanted to be back in romantasy again, and romantasy without feminism. And I just, it felt like a breath of fresh air for me. And so that's why I want to finish Outlander, so I'm not DNFing it. I'm just putting it aside for now.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, you're just tabling it and shelving it for now. But yeah, that makes
until
sense.
I'm more in the mood. And then historical romance is different than romantasy. So it's like when you change genres, you also have to be in the mood for the genre change as well.
Fiction.
So it,
that's where like I always used to say that I liked that some of my favorite genres was historical fiction. That's just because my dad loved historical fiction, loves historical fiction, or he doesn't read it much anymore. He does more of like spiritual type books and stuff now, but like spiritual warfare type of stuff. That's his big thing now. But like, he used to love historical fiction novels, and like whether it's biblical or like world history or whatever, like that was his thing. And so I'm like, oh, I love historical fiction, but every time I'd go to actually try to read a historical fiction, I just always fell out of it. And the writing, it feels almost like college writing, and I don't mean, and that's not an insult to literally every other genre, but there's some times where it's like if you're writing historical events, like you almost have to get history class-ish in a way, and so it's like the writing style is very different than any other genre that you see. So it's like, it makes sense. I remember
Heather edited out a bunch of that when I did Immortal, because I was getting too history textbookish is what she would call it. Yeah. And she's like, this is reading like a history textbook. I don't understand any of this. This is not connecting with me, because she's not a big history person. So she was like the perfect person to edit that out. So, but I totally get that. So it's like, the romance helps because it's like I latch onto romances a lot, but it's like it's still just, some of it was just like.
Well, and honestly, when you were talking about your when you're talking about it, like just seeming like there's like a lot of like filler stuff, it reminded me, I'm pretty sure it was Brandon Sanderson that was like his he does like kind of like we do, where like they do a podcast but they post the videos to YouTube, and I love watching them from time to time, just like putting them on and watching them as I'm doing something. And there was one time where he was talking about, I don't know if it was a short from an episode or if I was watching a full episode, but he made the comment that sometimes there's too much, like the authors take too long to get to a point in the story, like they write too much. And I know he was probably I don't know if, I can't remember if he was like talking about like today's books or just in general, because I feel like it was talking about like just in general, that there's some novels, and that's where it's like, for me it kind of feels like House of Flame and Shadow, like book 3 for Crescent City was kind of like that a little bit, but it's like kind of sounds like that, like what's it called, Outlander falls into that category a little bit. Like, you don't need, like you don't need an entire chapter trying to get an egg out of a tree, you know what I'm saying, like unless like I was like, or like unless it's like, for example, like if one of your survivor challenges is to like climbing something to reach something, and you have the character learning how to climb a tree to practice, like that would connect back because it's needed later. But it's like, that's completely out my butt. I have no idea what goes on in Survivor, by the way, for those that are watching. I just am like, you know what? We'll throw it in here and make it connect. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like
my editor is so dedicated for one of the chapters. She wanted to make sure the physics could work, so she used her door frame. And
I remember you talking about this.
Where you sit on either side and you shimmy up. And in mine, you have to grab stuff. And she's like, this isn't going to work. It's just, she put a box on top of her door and she shimmied up. She did a whole video. And I'm like, and she's like, I'm having way too much fun doing your challenges. I tried it and I'm like, I can't even get up into the door frame to do this. That's because funny. I am so out of shape. It was our back and forth on that was so funny.
That is funny. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, the one after Crescent City, because there's some time there where I, at the end of August, from the 23rd to the 30th, so this is the end of August, so this would technically be my last one that I finished in August. It's called The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillick. I
Oh yeah. You
The
were like
writing,
intrigued by this, weren't you?
yeah, the writing style was really good. It was really different. It felt very like Renaissance-y, medievalish, and at the time I was, it just felt
Yeah.
really cool. And essentially, the whole premise of it is you have these diviners that live in this kind of temple-like area where it sounds kind of dark, but essentially they they're drowned, and then they see visions of like these omens, these six unearthly figures called omens. But the thing is, you don't, spoiler or no spoiler?
I I don't know if I could ever read that one, even though I'm
Yeah.
curious. So I think I'm okay to
Okay.
hear spoilers.
Okay,
So
because
go for it.
I'm gonna throw some big ones at you then, if you're okay with
Right.
that. Okay, so
I'm totally
like
cool with it.
this
Go.
knight comes in, like this new king comes in, and he, like, every time a new king is kind of crowned, they come in and they get read by the omen, like by a diviner, to get like how the omens
Yeah.
are, if they're in the omen's favor or not. And so this new king comes
Okay.
in. He's called the boy king. They call him the boy king because he's young, and he gets all of the omens give him a bad omen, give him like a bad favor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you
Okay.
have this knight that's with him, and over the course, like Sybil, she's called six, I believe. She has a number that she's called. They're called numbers, and they forget their names. Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, she essentially, the other diviners that she lives with slowly start disappearing, and so she has the knight and the king take her along to figure out why these are disappearing, and in the process she has to help them get these like divine objects from these omens, because it turns out they aren't actually gods. They're just people that have been treated like gods for so long that they have these god complex. And
Ooh, I love that.
yeah.
Okay.
And so we go through, and like each of these objects have a special power type thing. Like one side of this coin will teleport you, but the other one, like if it lands on one side, it will teleport you there. But if it lands on the other, it like explodes. So it's like they each have different things that they do. And I was really loving it. It was definitely a slow burn romance, and I was just absolutely loving it. And then a character literally, I'm so mad. I get so angry with this. Oh my god. It just ticks me off. So, do I tell you?
I'm curious. You're gonna.
Do I tell you?
Yes. Tell me. Yes.
The freaking king. The whole reason why he wanted all of those objects is so that he could become the person in charge of this religion. And he stabs the knight, stabs him, betrays him. There's this gargoyle, like a literal gargoyle, that's been taking care of her, that you learn his backstory through this whole thing. And I won't tell you everything, because there's some bits that I'm like, just by the slightest hinting. Anyway, but it's like, the king has been, he like hurts this guy. Okay, I'll just tell you, like the people, the diviners, they take in this water, and that's what the omens crave. And so eventually all of the people that are diviners were dead, and then were brought back. And the very first, this gargoyle, that's super sweet, kind of aloof gargoyle, like a literal gargoyle, has been, like, takes care of her, and he's, like, stoned and everything, and he walks around, and he like, goes on this adventure with her, and you grow to really, really love this gargoyle. It turns out he's the very first diviner that got turned into, and all these gargoyles around this temple are the past diviners, but not the ones that she knew. And and so it's like the king stabs the knight, like pretty much like stabs and hurts the gargoyle, and then essentially tells her that either he was either going to, like a quid pro quo kind of thing, where he's like, either you marry me, or I tell the knights that you guys went on a rampage and destroyed a temple. And I'm just like, and then she accepts it and says okay, and then and kind of forces the knight, and the other knight lady that was kind of with the king, she kind of like says, I'm done. I'm like officially, like, I'm not a part of your knighthood anymore. I'm out. I'm done. And she takes the knight that's injured, takes him, and leaves. And there's one moment where this gargoyle is literally the mind of a child. That's why the gargoyle seems so quirky at times and so silly. He's literally a child. He's literally a boy. And he begins to realize, he's like, he calls everybody Bartholomew, but you learn later that that's his name. His name was Bartholomew. Okay. And it's one point whenever, like, the lady, the female knight, she's taking the main guy, the knight, taking him and the gargoyle and getting them out because Sybil has agreed to marry this king. And as they're walking away, the gargoyle realizes what's happening. He's like, I'm not leaving without my Bartholomew. I can't leave without Bartholomew. And he's just like so upset. And I'm just like, I loved this book. I am heartbroken. I am pissed off. Forgive me my language. I am so upset. I refuse to give this a 5-star. I refuse.
Oh my gosh.
I've never been so angry at a book before. I am so mad.
So funny.
Oh.
It's hilarious though, because that's the kind of ending that I love. God. And as an author, making your readers feel that is what
she is an amazing writer. I love her.
Honestly, that's unexpectedly sounds good because it sounded
I
like
just spoiled the entire book to you.
But now I'm gonna have to read it anyway. I don't care.
Are you sure? All right. I'll say you can take my book. I didn't annotate in it because I was just like, I'm curious. Like, it's so different that I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna read and not annotate this time. Yeah. So you can definitely borrow it. But also, she wrote a book. One of the other series that she's written is the Shepherd King series, but it's called One Dark Window. And I've seen the cover Yes.
That's the same author?
Yes, it's the same author.
I've been teetering around One Dark Window for a while because I've heard that it's actually pretty good.
Yes.
And the romance in there is different. So
hold on, I'm pretty sure somebody commented when I posted that I was reading this one. I'm pretty sure somebody made a comment that her writing has gotten better. Hold on, is it? Somebody made a comment. They're like, have you read One Dark Window yet? I feel like Rachel Gillig's books are getting better each time. So it sounds like it's also a really good series to read. But honestly, she's a really... Honestly, like, I'm giving the story itself a 4-star because I hate the ending. But her as a writer, if I could just rate her as a writer, I would definitely give her a 5-star. She's a really good writer. Like, the way it's written is so... It's kind of like Carissa Broadbent. It's so unique, but in a different way. It feels it just gives a Renaissance-y king knighthood vibe to it that's just, rich. Yes, so you definitely need to read it. Even though I've spoiled literally everything. Like, I just give you the whole, like, not even the cliff notes. I just give you the full in-depth. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. If you didn't know.
Give it a full cliff notes. Now I'm getting the spoiler warning.
By the way, if you plan on reading The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillings, you might want to find a time machine and go back or erase your memory, because I just spoiled everything.
The quick thing, it's like...
Oh my god. Okay, we're doing book reviews, so, like, they kind of expected us to talk spoilers, so, to be fair.
Alright, so at the end of... When did I start? Okay, hold on. So, I started... That's weird, because it shows when I started it the first time. We started this read together.
Yeah.
At the end of August, right?
Hold on.
Or was it September?
Hold on, let me pull it up. Because I went in and, because with these ones, you have to go in and, if you go into the details of it, look at your book activity feed on Goodreads, it'll show you when you started it a second time. So if you click edit my activity, if you click the book itself and then click edit activity,
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
okay, I've got it. Okay, yes, I see.
oh, nope, I'm looking at book 4. I need to go back. Um,
I commented on yours saying on August 30th saying, ah, you managed to start it before me, Eep, and then I probably started it that night. So it was
yeah.
August
Hold on, let me
20-ish.
look. Here's the right one. Click edit my activity. Yeah, so I read it the first time in January, and then I started it August 30th. So I think you also started it that day. I had started
You
it.
posted
I
first.
started it midday, and you probably started it that night. So I would say
Yeah,
you
that
did
sounds
start it on
right.
the 30th.
Okay. So, anyways, we decided to read this together. You because you wanted to reread it before you
Yes.
read book 4, and
Which
then me
I'm glad I
because
did,
I
by the
couldn't get
way.
into it the first time.
Like, I'm glad
Okay,
I
that's
reread
good.
it, by the way, because
Um,
I forgot a lot of the ending. So I'm
yeah.
glad I reread it.
Okay. Um, so obviously I got stuck the first time because I don't like the underworld. The necromancy scene, I was just like, nope, and I stopped at the necromancy
Yeah.
when he was bringing the look back. Um, but after reading Sarah J. Maas since March, I think I literally this felt, and also coming off of Outlander historical romance, I was like, I'm in romantasy
Yeah.
and no feminism and strong female characters done well because Misha is like such a
Mm-hmm.
good character
Oh,
and Asar is still like he's not demeaned to make her strong or whatever.
yes.
And
Yes.
then also after that, there's like dead, but it's not like I don't know. For some reason, it's like my issue with it just completely vanished. I don't
Yeah.
know what happened,
I
but
think
like
it
I'm
was
not bothered by it anymore.
I think it's because
And
he's not consistently like bringing people, he's not actively consistently practicing necromancy. It was just like one little point in the entire story. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't mention
and it's
necromancy
like
very often, and I think that's
yeah.
probably what's like has helped keep it going. Anyway, sorry.
When I talked about this kind of concept with my husband in the past, he views it, he's very logical mindset, for those of you who don't, he's extremely logical. He fears nothing. But his way of thinking is like not a lot of fictional gods still die, and so in his mind it's not a true like not our true god or anything, so it never bothers him. And so there's a lot of like, but for me, I read this while I was on vacation, so that was really fun. I normally don't read on
Mm-hmm.
vacation, but my husband had no choice because we were stuck in the hotel together. We wanted to be, but he had no choice but to listen to my outraged outbursts of when I was reading, and I would just like talk about the book, and he
Yeah.
just doesn't care, and it's hilarious. But when we found out Isar's mission from Naxia was to bring Naxia's lover back,
Yeah.
spoilers for the first half of the book, I was mind blown. That should have been obviously what she wanted him to do,
Yeah.
but it's like we've had lore about Naxia and her lover for the first two books,
Yes,
and I
I
really
know.
like
Yeah.
their story.
Me too.
And so the possibility of getting to have that included in this one was so exciting for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it really it feels very Greeky, like all of those Greek stories
Yes.
where you have to
Yes.
travel to the
Mm-hmm.
underworld to do this mission, and
Exactly.
it's just like, and it's exciting, and there's a lot going on. And then like also in a weird way, some of the way that she feels about her god reminds me of how I feel about God in real life, but like her god is toxic, and it reminds me of like
Yes.
a toxic thing.
It just,
And
yeah.
so that's kind of like
Yeah.
it's really
And it
interesting.
honestly, when I read fictional gods like Atraxis in this one, and when I read fictional gods that are very like imperfect and very toxic
Yeah,
and very mean and very nasty, it just gives me a better appreciation to the one that I believe in. And it's like, you know what?
that's
It's like,
funny.
thank you, God, for not doing that to me, and not putting me into a position like that, and not harming me and hurting
Yeah,
me, and just, you know what I'm saying, and demeaning me. And it's like,
and just
thank
that
you.
it's
Even
real,
though I would deserve those
It's
kinds of things, I appreciate that you don't. You know.
yeah,
And so, yeah.
that's so fun.
But also, like, I'm
Um,
playing off of what you were talking about with Michael. Like, for me,
mhm.
it's when there's like a monotheistic god type situation. That's when I get uncomfortable, when there's one god, and
Oh,
they're
okay.
like mimicking, like for example in Narnia, it has a similar concept, but it parallels with the Bible. Or a better version is the Lord of the Rings. That whole universe, it parallels the Bible, and it kind of but it doesn't in a tasteful, in a respectful way towards the Bible.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah,
for these ones, it reminds me, it's just for me, it's a play off of like the Greek and Roman gods, which are fake anyway. So it's like, it doesn't really
yeah. That makes
bother me, because it's like, it's not based on real God anyway. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm good with it, you know. But
Bouncing off that, that reminds me, like in Game of Thrones, there's this one subplot of this particular group of people, and they worship the Lord of Light, and that gave me the heebie-jeebies because it's a monotheistic Lord of Light, quote unquote, and they burn people at the stake to cleanse them of their sins.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're getting a little too. I don't do this.
No,
this is too close to home for me. And like when Supernatural was so good until season 10, and then they started twisting Christianity because they hunt demons.
Yeah.
But like they started, this guy claimed to be the Messiah, and he got control of all of the angels. And I'm like, when you start twisting Christianity, that's when I really can't.
That's when I shut
like,
the line. Yeah, I get too uncomfortable. So yeah, like I completely agree. And so it's like.
But that's like I said though about when it parallels like the Greek gods or the Roman gods, it's not a big deal. You know, because we watched like, you know, Gods of Egypt was like a really good movie. I genuinely like Troy is another one that's kind of that same vibe. The Scorpion King. Yeah. And the Scorpion King 2 is actually, the plot of this book is literally reminds me of the Scorpion King 2. And I really love that movie. That's one of my favorite ancient-y kind of movies. Yeah. So it's like, a good point. I like that, what you said. They are traveling, and that is where I'm at. She just helped him like hold the gate kind of thing, and so it's kind of like summarizing that, okay, that's what we're doing, we're traveling and I'm helping him with the gates. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
What chapter have you ended on? Are you currently on?
Page 149. I just started chapter 14.
Okay.
So I'm on page 149 at the top.
Gotcha.
Is where I'm at.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, like the very end of that, I made a comment, like I put this in my full review, but I'm like, I'm very conflicted about her sister. Like, I understand that she kind of did things out of necessity to take care of her sister, but I'm also I'm not an only child, but I have an older half sibling, and we didn't really have a sibling relationship until recently. So it's like, I don't have the mindset of a child with a sibling. So I can't really connect fully, but it's like, it really, so I understand that her sister did things out of necessity to take care of her and to take care of themselves, like, to give them a place to live. But there's like times where she'll say things and she'll like insinuate that Misha has to do these things out of obligation to their God because their God has done so much for them. And it's like, how dare you like even think about those things because he's done so much for you. And it just feels,
I think
it feels very toxic.
She wanted to get with that one. She wanted to like kiss that one boy. It was like a teenage girl, and it was like, you can't do this. And so she starts staying away from him, because it's like, oh, you kissing this boy would be a betrayal to our God who did all these good things. Yeah. And I don't like that. So I think that was my first kind of view, like seeing her in that light for the first time. Yeah. And I'm still curious about, because the one of the dead guys keeps popping up, and I think it's the boy, like her childhood friend, but I'm just like, what happened? I feel like there's a story there that I'm sure we'll probably get the answers to. Yeah. Also really intrigued by Asar. Like, I don't know why I stopped the first time. The underworld was like set, then the necromancy got to me so much, but I'm like, Asar is like the perfect male character. Yeah. Like all of the trauma and the scars and the magic and like having to hold back all of that himself and like and then the fact is she's gonna betray him. Like, I don't know if she's actually going to, but like her mission is against what she's trying to achieve. So that's probably not gonna end well either. And I'm just like, I need to stop playing Sims and actually read. I got back obsessed with Sims. We were talking about Sims the other day when we were discording just with us, and I got me back in a Sims mood, and I've been doing that, and I've been reading 1 page a day just to keep up my
I'm playing in the Magic. It's kind of like, I've been playing in the Sims 2 a little bit, but I've been playing through like the sorcerers, like the wizard ones, and it's kind of gotten me back into a Harry Potter vibe a little bit, but now all I have is like fan fictions, and I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna dive back into fan fictions because I'll get like flooded with like I will dive into the deep end, which I have. It's funny. One of the books I was gonna read for this month is a Harry Potter fan fiction that was published. So, in a way,
that's hilarious.
In a way, but yeah.
Yep, you're still in that vibe. So that's what I'm currently reading, and I think you finished it
So
already.
I'm getting ready to start this one. I'm still in the, because you know how like it does like an interlude type thing where it shows like a flashback. I'm currently in a flashback, I think.
Is she keeping the pattern? I'm wondering if she's going to keep the pattern where the second book in the duology adds in the guy POV and interludes too. Because like that's what she did with Rain and Araya, and like the second book is when we got Rain and Rain's
I can confirm.
interlude.
Just based on the, because I'm not looking at any words, but like at the beginning of a chapter it'll say Asar. So yes, it goes, okay. But the POVs go back and forth. I love that pattern though.
I'm so angry.
But okay, like that, but that's where it's like, that's really, I love how she does that though. Like she will establish a strong female character that has flaws, that's not over arrogant, that has a backstory that is a consistent. Like the backstory is consistently relevant to where they're at in the moment. Like as you read, like when you're reading all the way through A Songbird in the Heart of Stone, her backstory is relevant at every single moment because it's continuing to be. It's consistently a problem. Where it's like, for example, like in Throne of Glass, like Aelin, she has different problems that come up. But it's like her backstory isn't one consistent problem through the entire thing, so it's not one consistent amount of growth. Whereas like Misha, it feels like it's one long, gradual growth as a character because she's still struggling with those same things that she struggled with before, and she slowly works through them, and it's really interesting.
She doesn't randomly change or anything. Like her character is the behavior is. Oh, it's so good. She writes really strong. Like the positions that she puts the girls in their backstory makes them have to be strong but flawed, but not in an overbearing way because the other characters and the guys in particular have a chance to be strong too and like be like Asar is kind of like the only reason why they're all alive right now.
They're not over arrogant.
Guiding them.
Her main female characters aren't over arrogant.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm all for strong feminist type storylines, but let's please leave the arrogance out of it. Please leave the arrogance. That's my wish to authors. Please leave the arrogance out of strong female character roles. I can't handle arrogance. I can't handle a character thinking they're the best and they know everything and they don't need help from nobody. I can't handle that. I need a character. If you're going to have a character have that POV or have that mood, bring them to a really low spot where they have to be humbled.
Yes. And it's like, it would be no funner with a guy.
No, it wouldn't either.
I would be just as mad.
Yeah.
Whether it's a guy or girl, I don't like arrogant people who don't like help from other people unless they're brought to a low humbling point and learn their lesson.
Perfect example.
You know what I'm saying?
The best friend in Fourth Wing, what was his name? Was it Dane? Was that his name? Dane. Perfect example. He's arrogant, thinks he knows the best for Violet, and look how that turns out for him. Exactly. Like, that's a perfect example, a guy example. I don't like arrogance in a character. If you make them arrogant, humble them at some point in the series. Please.
Yeah.
And make that character express that humility. Don't just put them into that position.
And a random tidbit too, Claire from Outlander, she's a nurse from World War II. Do you understand how, like, we all know how tough nurses from World War II had to be because of what they would see? And, like, so she's got that, I'm going to boss you around, you need to do this and do that, and I know what I'm doing. But she's in a fish out of water. She time traveled back in time, and she's trapped in a castle she can't get out of. She could get killed by the British or the Scottish people at any moment. And so it's like she has that, but, like, she had, like, she's humbled, basically.
She has to acknowledge that she's the most.
Forced to marry a Scottish guy just to survive.
Yeah.
Because if not, the British commander's gonna do bad things. So it's like, you know, it
definitely.
She's another example of strong female character done right.
Yes.
But, so after this, I plan to read the next book. I don't have it yet, so that's one of the books I was choosing between on my anniversary video, and I got this one instead. So Hannah can put it up for me. I'm going to read that one next. Because I'm pretty sure the cliffhanger is going to make me want to instant read,
Oh
so I'm
yeah.
hoping to get it this week.
Oh yeah, it'll want you to instant read. Trust me.
Yeah, so that is my next read. Your next read after book 4
Is probably going to be, because I was going to read this one until I realized that we were going to read um, um, Songbird in the Heart of Stone together. So my next read is this one. It's called Rose and Chains.
Seen that, and I've read the blurb. Honestly, I think I've seen it several. Every time we've gone to get a book, I've seen it and I've thought about it, but it just didn't stand out to me.
Yeah.
Also, I'm having acid trouble, so. Guzzling water. That's why.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. So essentially, like, is the prophecy lied, and they were supposed to win this war, but Bryony Rosewood kind of watches as everything kind of falls apart, and so she has been like sold into this family because of her ability, and so it's kind of like an enemy, like she just has to be like put into this situation where she has to like spend time with this guy that she hadn't seen since she was younger, and so it's kind of one of those like I'm thinking it's probably going to be like an enemies to lovers kind of thing, but with a twist. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm excited to read it.
You'll have to let me know if it's good, because it came off as cheesy when I read the blurb, so you'll have to let me know if it's good, because I changed my mind about trying that one.
Yeah.
Because I almost got that book instead. So my next read, depending on my mood, I may, after book 4, I may just stick with Carissa Broadbent and go ahead and read Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, because I haven't read that yet.
Yeah, that was good.
Or I may jump to something else if I want to take a break from her and then
also
to something else. So I
even
that one.
Something with a comment to that. Even though if you look at the like official read order, even though it says to read it before the one you're currently doing, all it does it's one like a sentence. It's like a conversation. It's referenced in a conversation, and that like just the overall event is mentioned in a conversation, and that's it. So you're not going to miss any character Easter eggs or anything in Songbird in the Heart of Stone. You're not going to miss anything or get confused because you don't actually see the characters in the one you're reading currently.
Right. Okay.
So you don't have to worry about getting confused with that either. So, which I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about the Fallen in the Kiss of Dusk though. I didn't want to Google anything to figure it out, but I was honestly confused.
So I may want to read.
I was honestly confused though, so I didn't look up about the. I didn't look up, but I think it's about like. It has to do with the third type of vampires, I think. So I don't know if we'll actually. I don't know. That's where I'm like. I didn't want to look up and see if there's any connections in the one that just came out because I didn't want any spoilers. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
maybe by the time I get this one done, you'll be done with the 4th one, and you can tell me because this one's going to be after the 4th one for me. So we'll see if I don't get confused. But that depends on my mood, because I may want to start this book because I already read the prologue, like the opening sentence, just to see, because I have a tendency to buy books and then the opening line or something in the chapter will like make me not like it, and it's like I could have solved this problem by just reading a few pages. And I was so captivated by this already in the first couple, like the first page. I was reading in the bookstore, and so I may want to go ahead and start that one. So this is another one on my TBR for the month.
Yeah. I think that the one that you're currently reading has a huge ending. So I think you're going to want to continue. I hope you do anyway.
I probably will. Probably. I'm probably going to grab it this weekend. My lid just came apart. Okay. Do you have any more? Because I have one more on my TBR.
Oh, yeah. I got one more. It's
I was like,
it's called Immortal Consequences.
Okay, from August, I think it was.
Yes, it's like an academy. It's like another like fantasy academy type book. So it's like where these these students will go, and at the end, if a single student is I can't get the words out. One worthy student is either given the privilege of being part of the magical elite, or they're sent to this mysterious other side. And so it's kind of like one person is sent, like one person is chosen to go on
right
at the end. And so it's like the competitive fantasy, like academy type vibe. And so it's interesting. And there's like two academic rivals with a strange connection. So it kind of feels Fourth Wing-ish, but I don't think there's dragons in it. So, and I did see somebody comment that it was like emotionally damaged them on Tome, and so it has me intrigued.
Okay. That's another one that I just want to start, and you'll have to let me know if it's good, because I'm just not an academy person. Fourth Wing was the exception because of the dragons, and we had a Zayden who was like Resand. I'm just not an academy person, so for that one, and there was another one that was like, I think it's like dire wolves instead of dragons.
I found the comment.
Start yet.
This lady was this lady person. I say lady, but this person. It's like this tore my heart in half. I need the next book now, and she put like a crying face.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has me curious. I'm like, really? Like, plus, the cover's really pretty. Anyway. So I'm like, this might be my next one after I finish the current one. I don't know. I forgot how this one's intriguing this one sounded. So this one's kind of sounding interesting. So I might do this one next.
Okay.
We'll see.
When you read that one and the other one, you'll have to let me know if they're good.
Yes, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I need to know. So my last one, I really need to get around to reading Waterfalling by H.A. Pruitt, my editor and good author friend. She's writing a prequel about the parents of one character in this series. And let me tell you, it's like a true, she doesn't write romance, but like, it's like a romance between the parents and it's like so deep and so profound, and there's like a forbidden love thing, and she's been giving me quotes and tidbits, and several of her quotes like spoke to me on a spiritual level that she just shared, that I was like, it helped me with what I was going through at the time, and I just need that book now, but she's writing it, so I was like, and I also want to catch up before the next Anathalian book comes, book 5, so I need to read 3 and 4. And I just need to be in the mood for kids, because it's like teenagers, and I that it comes and goes, and I just need to be in a mood. And also, I was in a reading slump in August, and I didn't want my reading slump to negatively impact my opinion of this book, because reading slumps can do that, even if the book is good and you just loved it in a different season. It's like you'll end up hating it just because your mood is wrong or whatever. I was going to pull up that quote, but like, her writing is just like, I almost envy her in a way, because God inspires her so much. It's like her writing has these quotes that will just hit, and it's just like so good. Okay, here's her quote from her current book, Anathalian companion book, Eloris and Zipporah. Engaging with the enemy, even when trying to battle it, always led somewhere he shouldn't go. And I'm just like, oof. And she said in the caption, like, whether it looks like towing the line of temptation, arguing with your dark thoughts, or anything else that sits you beside the enemy of sin, it will lead to failure. You cannot battle sin and win. You have to turn around and run to God. Only God can be the strength and ability in us that can put an end to the battle and return us to where we should be. If you are fighting sin, stop fighting it and run to God instead. And I'm just like, that's so good. And then another one says, a person can exist without really living, just as a flower cut from its roots can continue on dried. And I'm just like, these quotes are so good. Quotes. Yeah, she has these one-liners. She has this ability to just, I'm going to be annotating. I know, I have a feeling I'm going to be annotating. And this one's like about one of the characters, water falling. Falling is like the character going downhill, and then water rising is like that rising point. So it's probably going to be this one's probably going to be kind of an emotional book. That's my last one for September. That's funny. I doubt I'm going to get to all of them, by the way.
It's just, I like giving options. Yeah, that works. Okay, so a couple, because we talked about Carissa Broadbent a lot, I don't know if there's any other kind of like side stuff that you were going to talk about, but there's a couple things, announcements that she's been posting. I've been watching her page pretty frequently here recently, just for various, just I've watched it enough that it's one of the first things that's shown to me when I go into Instagram, and she's always posting stuff on her story. One, she did a hardcover reveal for her rebrand, kind of like the new cover for the Daughter of No Worlds series, and like book one, she did the hardcover reveal for it, and I am like so excited. That one comes out in like October 14th of this year, so I am like excited. Something I'm getting on my next paycheck.
That one. That was another one we were gonna read together on that app. We'll have to pick a different book now because we need these hardcover re-releases.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't this book in particular. It was the prequel book, like a prequel novella.
Okay.
Yeah. One more thing, because we've been talking about the Crown of Naxia series. She did a date and title reveal for the next book after The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk. It's called The Lion and the Deathless Dark is the name.
Right. I saw that.
And August.
I actually saved that.
Did you?
Because she did this cool thing where she flips through her book.
I saw that. Yes.
We're gonna do that for Remnant. It is so cool.
Yes, and it's really cool. And she put a date. Her most recent post, her pinned post is the date. It's like August 4th of next year, of 2026. Wow.
I love that she also did like the document, like almost a printed version of it. It's like printed out pages. It's like because I saved that because I was going to talk about it, but then I for some reason thought we already had, but we hadn't. So I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm just so excited. And she has like a post with like upcoming releases. And so like the new covers for the Daughter of No World series, book 1 is in October. The re-release of book 2 is in December, and then book 3 is in March of next year. So it's like they're slowly progressing, like slowly releasing. So it'll feel like a re-release again, which is going to be fun.
Save that too, because like I need to re-release the Republic Chronicles, so that'll kind of be a nice timeline comparison. But that's so cool.
Yes.
At least I'm not the only one that releases my books.
Okay. Did you have anything?
So my next, I had Kickstarters I wanted to shout out, obviously starting with my own. So it's over, but I'm still taking late pledges until tomorrow night. So there's about 24 hours left. So you can get the ebook for this or the ebook for the whole Valiant series collection. And I wanted to show this off because I finally got the correct version after much pain, blood, sweat, and tears. So it obviously has the book signing and numbering page. So the ebook will have my digital signature in there, so that way ebook people can still enjoy it as well. And it's got the full-page illustrations. I got them finally correct, and they look so good. So the ebook will have them as well. And then the character guide has the character sketches. I finally got them to where they were sized correctly.
I like that.
There's tidbits that are not in the book that's in this character guide. And then the short story companion, I am nefarious for cliffhangers, so y'all are going to want that short companion because you won't be able to not.
Yeah.
And that's going to be gone. So once late pledges are done, it's done. You can never get this edition again. I'm never selling this version of it again. So like all of that's going to be gone tomorrow. So that's my little self-promotion, what is that? Shameless self-promotion. There we go.
Yeah.
So a few other Kickstarters I'm still going to share with you. There's the Awakened series by, what's the author name? I can't find the author name. It's like a publisher. So it looks like Ione Pierce or Leonie Pierce. But it's like 3 spicy romantic fairy tales, so it's like dark romance, like dark fairy tale retellings. Because normally fairy tale retellings are all like sweet and cozy and stuff. So it's interesting. This is like the first one I've seen that was spice, but it's got Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and the Snow Queen, and they have foiled covers and sprayed edges. There's 16 days left to go, and they look gorgeous. And it's one of those like I want to buy for the cover. But I should not. Also, the names are kind of like, I really like the namings of them because it's like Sweet Briar and then Midnight Deception and A Kiss of Winter. So it's like, I like that the name kind of correlates with
the story that it's going on.
Yes, thank you for finishing my thought because my brain trailed off.
Very good.
So also all of these Kickstarters are on the landing page in the description. We've already got the link there. You can scroll through and find them. Some of them I've talked about before, so they'll be further down. Like this next one is a Over the Moon. It's fun, spicy alien romance with cozy small town vibes, foil sprayed edges, exclusive art, and more. If that's your thing, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. The art looks really cool, and the sprayed edges are really pretty. I just want to point out this one has $32,000 pledged to it.
Wow.
That is insanely high.
Yeah.
So good for them. That is crazy. So next up, I thought this one was really sweet, and I talked to the author because I coordinate with all these authors, and so seemed really, really nice and sweet. This is a child's book called Penny Panda and the Day Daddy Didn't Come Home. It's a heart-healing picture book that helps kids face grief and loss with love, courage, and hope.
Always
and so it's
those
created
kind of
for, I know, because it's like kids need to like have some book to like help them navigate difficult things. And so it's created for the wildland fire community, made for every family who faces loss. And it's just like, what a great cause. So if that one is in its pre-launch stage, so you can click to follow the campaign for when she launches it. And again, that'll be on our landing page as well.
Kids experience such really strong emotions when they're that little. Like things like that are really big emotions. And so any kind of book, picture books that help, and you wouldn't think a picture book would have that much of an impact, but it does on young kids like that. Like it really is helpful. And plus, it's good to reach your kids regardless of how old they are. So that's partly why so many kids don't like to read now, is because it wasn't as encouraged as much as it should be. So read to your kids. There's research that goes into the benefits of reading to your children. So and plus it goes to a really good cause too. So
I agree. So the next one is Beyond the Veil, Kickstarter exclusive hardcover and paperback. It's an urban fantasy collection packed with fae, demons, forbidden love, adventure, and a deadly mystery. This one is done, but it's actually got late pledges open like mine.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of cool. Determined heroine, not quite human hero, forbidden love, instant attraction, fae, both good fae and evil fae, and then secrets revealed. And this one does have a sample available. I always love, because I'm the person, I'll buy a book and then not like something in the opening just because something doesn't click with me. I always read a sample before I get a book, so I like that. And this one of the cool things is they have this build your own tier, so it's for $1 you pledge, and then you can do a bunch of add-ons and kind of just customize whatever you want.
Neat.
So
I like that.
Yeah. So that was all my Kickstarters that I wanted to talk about, and then I've got other random articles and things that we can talk about too.
Okay.
So your turn.
One thing I noticed, this was like towards the beginning of August, but I don't know if I actually mentioned it or not. But Sunrise on the Reaping is in production. So, they're filming. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yeah, and I just really hope that they have Woody Harrelson and the gang back at the end for those final scenes, because it's going to be so emotional. Please. There was rumors that they were going to have them come back, and so I'm just like, please.
Even if it's a post-credit scene, although that would be nice if it was just part of the movie, but just like, please.
Yes. And then I've got one last one, but we'll bounce back and forth. So I've got one more.
Okay. All right, so since you're talking about TV, not a book, but I love Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Well, there's novelizations for the series, so there's novels. There's like kids novels based on the series, so it counts.
And graphic novels and stuff too. So technically, it's just such a part of my childhood and my sister's childhood. I can't. So the live action season 2 is coming in 2026.
Ooh.
So Netflix kind of made an official announcement that it's at least going to come out next year.
Are they currently like recording now? Or is that when they start recording?
They're filming the next 2 seasons at the same time, or like back to back, because they didn't want to have to do as the actor's age. They don't want to make another time jump.
No, I don't.
So it'll be interesting. see how they navigate that with they're gonna have to jump time because Aang and all the other actors are older.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because I like older ones, but it's just like I don't know how that's gonna change
Yeah.
the storyline. It's like Sozin's comet was gonna come in a whole summer in the
Yeah.
show, and so Sozin's comet's gonna have to come
I
years
could
later,
see
I
it. I
guess.
could see like in like a certain. I could see it being one of those things where, like, every so many years the comet comes, and so it's like coming in the next like 5-10 years, in the next five
Yeah.
years, and so they have five. He has like I can see it them just tweaking things a little bit, but still doing it tastefully enough that it works. Like at least that's my hope.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Um, so on in what was I gonna say? One of the story, like the big plot beats in the second season, is going to the library to find out about the comet, and so
Mm-hmm.
that information is going to be a little bit different. But I hope that they keep it, and like I really just don't want them to start trying to change up and mix things because the middle episodes of the first season was like really not good, and then they
Mm-hmm.
added some stuff and just like keep it the same. The pacing kind of works the same. They
Mm-hmm.
have enough time that it's actually a little bit longer than the runtime of the original show, so they could keep every beat
Yeah.
the same and like just don't mess things up, please.
Yeah.
So, um, okay, another one that I had, I guess we'll go back and forth to you because I had three more.
Okay, well, you do another one and then I'll do mine.
Okay. Um, so I saw a post on Realm Makers Consortium, so shout out to them. It's like Christian speculative, so Christian sci-fi and fantasy readers that are like
Mm-hmm.
big nerds like us. Um, somebody posted, was like, maybe I'm showing my age here, but does anyone else feel like the mainstream publishers and the big five are no longer willing to take risks with what they publish? It's cheaper, easier, and faster than it's ever been to print books, and yet at least for fantasy and romance, I feel like they're all putting out the same tired stories over and over again. Dark, dangerous, bloodthirsty
Because it's
fae,
what's selling.
secret assassins, doom and gloom, wars with the gods, and grumpy sunshine tropes. I've been a reader for 40 years and I don't remember there being so many samey books on the shelves as there is now. Sure, there were trends, but there were always off-trend books available too.
Yeah, I think it's
Is the
just
point this person
it's
made.
it's what's selling. All of these big companies, they've went. And I think a lot of the big companies, not just in books, but like in movies and TV and music, like all of these big companies that are in charge of like entertainment for us average folk, like they've went
Uh-huh.
away, like within the last like 10-15 years, they've went away from catering to the reader or to the viewer, to the person enjoying the content, to what to themselves and what sells. So yes, I would argue that they like well no, that I would argue that they're not taking risks purely because they want money, and the best way for them to get money is by to be pumping out the same thing over and over and over. We see that with romance novels, whether it's like the old cheesy spicy ones from the 80s and 90s, or it's the contemporary ones now, or it's the Fey fantasy. They're all exactly the same, except for small little details that make them different. Now, there are
Mm-hmm.
a handful that are genuinely new and different, but it's like, it's what's selling.
And again, it works. Like the romance genre, there's so many series that are standalones, and it's the same copy
Mm-hmm.
paste, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
And even I fall into that with
Yeah.
like I'm writing one like that with my military romantic. There's a Navy SEAL. Terrorists are coming after them. He's got a good romance, and
Yeah.
they're on the run. Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing, but
Yeah.
it works for a reason. So I
Well,
see
there's,
both sides to it.
yeah.
I feel like so because
Well,
I have my favorites. I'm like, give me
yeah.
a good Shadow
And
Daddy.
that's the thing,
I don't
too.
like to fight, but it's just like,
Well, like,
I keep going back.
why are, it's like in that person asked, why is, like, I don't, he's like, I've been reading for 40 some years. And it's like, well, you can only write certain things so many times, so many different ways before things start to repeat. And it's like
Yeah.
how many fantasy worlds are we gonna get before it's just like, oh, this is just like a repeat Tolkien. This feels kind of like a repeat Tolkien, or this feels like a repeat, like Sarah J. Maas feels like a series, like Sarah's writing feels like this older series. Because that's what one thing I noticed is like some people are like, oh, she's just ripping off this series, and I'm like, not really. She just wrote a similar trope, and all the tropes sound the same. Like all Grumpy Sunshines are essentially the same plot line. All of the Touch Her and Die plot lines, or the same concept. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all like all the tropes are like that. Like the contemporary romances, they're the backbone of the story. And that's where it's like, I just maybe we need to invent more tropes.
Maybe.
You know
It's
what I'm
really
saying?
hard to invent something that's new because there's always
Exactly. Something.
always like you always have inspiration from somewhere.
Yes.
And it reminds me of how when I read Kingdom of Ash, I realized that Valiant Part 1 and Valiant Part 2, the final of my, it's like so similar plot lines. I just did male character instead of the female character for one of them, but it's like, oh my gosh. And I wrote that long, like, you're my witness, I wrote this long before I even heard of Sarah J Maas or Throne of Glass or any of this. Like, I didn't read that kind of stuff back then. And it's just like coincidentally I wrote very similar things because it's like sometimes like you said, tropes are just the same.
Yeah, like it's almost unavoidable at times. Like there's some tropes that are just going to sound similar. There's some like genres that are going to have similar plot lines in every book that you read within that genre. It's just that's unavoidable. And it's one of those things like that person claims that they'd never seen anything like that until now, but I guarantee you
There's patterns that you can
on
back in the day.
Like back in the day there was similar writings that's what made Tolkien stand out and C.S. Lewis stand out because they were writing something different that hadn't been written before. So it's like I guarantee you it was also like that back then too. It just yeah.
Or even George Lucas with the first sci-fi that was like different. They were all like all like brand new sci-fi ships and stuff, and he was the first one that made everything look old, like a spaceship that is a rusty bucket of bolts, that sort of thing was like what made it unique back then.
Okay.
All right, so what's your next
one? Last thing I had was there was a video clip of Rebecca Yarros, which is author of Fourth Wings, the Empyrean series. Somebody in the crowd asked her if Xaden and Violet had a more normal wedding, what would it look like? And her response was, "You'll just have to wait and see." There was something to that effect. She said, what was her reply? Hold on. Her words were, I think you're going to have to see, is what her comment was. I think you're going to have to see. Or something to that effect. Essentially, which means we're going to get that missing scene at some point. I know. Yeah. I know. I'm so excited. And somebody's like, she can't just casually drop that. She just so casually dropped it. And I'm just like, okay.
That's hilarious.
We're doing this.
Okay,
all right.
Rebecca Yarros. Thanks for giving us that. So my next one is actually a silly statement, but I want to hear your reaction to it, and it's about ACOTAR characters. So, okay. You ready for this?
Okay.
This made me laugh so much. Okay.
Okay.
If Rhys is the Beast, Feyre is the Beauty, I'm convinced that Cassian is Lumiere and Azriel is Cogsworth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why, but that struck me when I first saw it. I was like, I have to tell Hannah that in our live stream, because I'm just like, oh my god. Yeah.
I love that.
And now I can't stop imagining like if Cassian was actually like Lumiere, and it's just like Lumiere is such a flirt anyway. It's like, oh, Mademoiselle,
so well though. Yeah.
Funny.
I like that. That is funny.
And then Cogsworth being a stick in the mud, kind of like Azriel is. It's like in different ways, but it's so funny. Okay, so this one's more of like a writing publishing thing, but so this person posted in one of the groups that I'm in, and they published a book a year ago, and it's doing well. And then they had a lady reach out to them to say that she really wants to read the book but can't download the ebook from her location. She's contacted Amazon, is waiting for a response. Today she asked me if she didn't get any help from Amazon, could I send her the PDF? She's happy to pay. I'm honestly not worried about the money, but just wondering if there could be any issues with sending her the PDF. I'm so touched that she's so keen to read my next book, and I really want to help her. And everybody in the comments was like, do not, this is a scam. And I just wanted to give my own thoughts on this because I've actually experienced this. From both sides. We authors are so eager. I will send my book to somebody for free if they ask it. I cannot help myself. I just want you to read the book and enjoy it. I can't help myself. And like I've talked with my husband about scams and stuff online, and how you'll have scammers that like hit the old people that are lonely that want companionship, and so they'll start a relationship type scam. They know how to get to you. If all it takes is them going through your social media, they'll figure out what you value. And so for authors, they will ask you for your book either in exchange for a review, or like this, where it's like, I can't download your book, I'll send you money. And it's like, a lot of people were like, it'll be on a pirating site faster than you can link, basically. And that's not to say, like, I wanted to say, because there may be some readers who do genuinely want to do this, and I even sell my books for my website to people, so there could potentially be like, maybe that's how mine ended up on the pirating site. But it's just like, I wanted to warn authors, but also like, there's some legit readers out there too, so it's hard. It's like really hard.
I think it's one of those things that, if, like, in this situation, if you're having trouble downloading from a website, you don't go to the author. The author's going to have no, like, if I buy your book on Amazon and it gets lost in the mail, I'm not going to go to you and be like, hey, I ordered your book on Amazon, but it got lost in the mail. Can I have a copy? No, I'm not going to go to you. I'm going to go to Amazon and be like, hey, where's my package? You know? Yeah. And it's one of those things. I think it's just like a warning. Like, if this is actually legitly, readers actually do this, just don't be offended or upset if a author gives you attitude back and says, no, I can't send you my book. It's not because they're money hungry. It's not because they don't care about their fans. It's purely because they don't want their hard-earned work pirated on some website, and they have no idea how to confirm your identity. And with AI, as good as it is in today's society, you can't be more careful. There's, you have to be careful. Like, so it's like it's almost unavoidable. Like, personally, I probably wouldn't, just because, like, when people bring up the whole pirating issue, I'd be like, oh, yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's just, it's definitely
like, I've always been like, where I want to support my indie author, so I'd rather buy from them directly from their website. And so it's one of those things where it's like,
if it's that kind of situation, if it's that kind of thing where they can prove to you that they've bought it from you and it's just not being downloaded, then that's different. Like, if they can prove to you, like, hey, here's my receipt of, like, if they've sent you this, like, hey, can you send me a picture of your receipt just confirming that you bought this? Can you send me some kind of screenshot confirmation saying that you bought this? And then it's like, yeah. And if it's from your, like, the author's own personal website, then definitely. It's like, if they've purchased it and it's not been given to them,
for sure.
I don't see any issue with that.
I'm actually all, like, messaged by scammers on a daily basis on Facebook. I get flooded. Like, Facebook now separates that from your main messaging. It'll be like the new messages coming in. And I just, like, maybe there's a few people that a lot of mine are like, hey, I'll promote your book in exchange for money. And it's like, some of them may be legit, but I don't want to get burned. And so it's just like one of those things where it makes it so hard. And also, I recently fell for a scam on Kickstarter a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I talked about that either, but it was like, it looked like it was an official Kickstarter person, because they had the Kickstarter logo as the profile picture. And I fell for it, and I had to have my bank, like, lock my card out and give me a new card. Luckily, nothing happened. I wasn't no money was taken from anything. But when I talked to Kickstarter about it, they said, oh, we'll have a check mark beside there. It won't be in the profile picture. And I was like, what a subtle thing. Like, I wouldn't have known that. And it's like, luckily, one of the authors in the Kickstarter group that I posted it to, I had shared a screenshot, and they noticed on the website there were just a few minor details that, like, wasn't quite legit, and they caught it. Otherwise, who knows what might have happened. So it is, you got to be careful with scams.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But so,
alrighty, I think we've kind of set up our month for reading, and we've kind of talked about pretty much everything, at least most of the stuff I had. The only other thing that I saw was that on TikTok, I saw somebody had posted, like, a theory that they made the comment that Snape's body was never found, and so their theory was that Snape didn't actually die because he taught about poison antidotes on, like, the first day, and he was a potions master. So like you can't, you're telling me he had no potions on him to be able to counteract something like being poisoned or whatever. Like, so like they were making comments like it was just like blood replenishing potions exist, and so like him being a potions master, it like it wouldn't make sense for him, one, to not have any kind of antidote on him if he was poisoned, or have any kind of blood replenishing potion. Like, it just wouldn't make sense. And the fact that it never goes back to say that they found his body or anything went back for his body at all in the story, and so it's kind of just left up for like, well, we don't really know. Like, we assume that he died, but it's like we don't really know. And so there was like a theory, yeah, and there was like a theory that um that maybe he like made some kind of secret exit and was kind of like watching out for Harry from a distance, and like, you know, I don't know, it was just like a little fun theory that I was like, I like that theory. I
love that.
because
That's
it was
cool.
never, we were never told what happened to like his body, and so I'm like, I kind of like that.
I like that too. That's cool. I like little fun theories and stuff like that. I did have one little side note. There was this company, I don't know what they are, called Anthropic. They were supposed to pay authors $1.5 billion to settle a lawsuit over pirated chatbot training material. So, and this was an article on September 5th.
Hmm.
So I guess they got, it's an AI company called Anthropic has agreed to pay $1.5 billion to settle a class action lawsuit by book authors who say the company took pirated copies of their works to train its chatbot. The settlement, if approved by a judge as soon as Monday, could mark a turning point in legal battles between AI companies and the writers, visual artists, and creative professionals who accuse them of copyright infringement. The company agreed to pay authors about $3,000 for each of an estimated 500,000 books covered by the settlement. As best as we can tell, it's the largest copyright recovery ever. It's the first of its kind in the AI era, so it could
Mm.
set a nice precedent for other companies like that. So, and that was the only other thing I had. So,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
yeah, so let us know what you read in August and how you enjoyed them, and then what your TBRs will look like for September. And
Yes.
also if you have any other things you want us to talk about or
Yeah.
react to.
And if there's any kind of like upcoming books or like series that you can, like fantasy type series that you just really enjoy and you think that we would enjoy diving into, let us know about those too. Um, and then, yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll
No.
making try to do better. I'll try to do better making shorts. I record a video and then I just don't ever get the chance to do the captions and get it posted. So, but we still
Yeah.
do post shorts, each of us individually. So if you followed our page because you saw Joanna's post or mine and then was confused when you saw the other person, that's how our channel works. Is that we post individually, um, but we come together once a week and do live streams and stuff. So that's kind of, I don't know, for
Yep.
any of the new people that don't know that, that's kind of how our whole channel is lined out, is that we do shorts separately and then come together. So,
And
all right.
usually I'll be the one to reply on my shorts to people who comment
Yeah.
and stuff, and then likewise vice
Yeah.
versa. So
Yeah.
like I'm
So
not going to
people,
reply to people who
yes.
comment on yours,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah. So if somebody comments on Joanna's post, it would just feel awkward and weird for me to reply back to them because I have no context about what Joanna thinks
Yeah,
and what
right.
her reply would be. So if for some reason, because we have different sleep schedules, so I sometimes will reply earlier in the day, or sometimes I won't even see until like a few days later, and then I'll reply, and then Joanna replies more in the evening, so the replies will be different too. So just keep all of that in mind, but we will reply eventually.
Eventually.
Eventually, we will. So we'll see you guys
Yep.
later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.